Day 8 of training camp went down yesterday. On today's episode, we're going to talk about some of the biggest standouts from day 8 of training camp. And since it is Friday, that means it is Mailbag Day. We're going to get into your voicemails, all that and more.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Darius Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. So Luther Burton continues to be a standout in practice, and should be music to Bears fans' ears. Luther Burton, who, had injury, and even Ben Johnson aired some concerns over how much time Luther Burton had missed and how that could impact, kind of his rhythm with the team and chemistry with the team and things like that. Well, it seems like he was all over the field, excelled in one-on-one drills, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. Luther Burton was everywhere. He caught passes deep down the field. He caught passes underneath with tight coverage. He just did a little bit of everything, and that's really what you want to see. He caught 5 passes, including 2 deep ones. It seems like the more and more that Luther Burton plays, the more and more reps that he gets naturally, he's looking more and more comfortable, not only in this system, but also with the quarterbacks. Reportedly, he caught passes from all 3 of the Bears quarterbacks yesterday, and that's really good to see. Luther Burton has really already come in, and he's now living up to as much of the hype as he can in training camp. Of course, until live games are going on and things like that, there's only so much that he can do, but it's good to hear that despite missing as much time as that he missed, and like I said, that the fact that Ben Johnson did share concerns over that time, seems like Luther Burton is locked in, ready to go. He's doing what needs to be done in training camp, and that's going to bode well for the Chicago Bears in preseason games, and as this team continues to go and develop. And also, don't look at it this way, it's also helping the wide receivers. The fact that Luther Burton is going to be the slot receiver on this team. And we already talked about how creative they're getting with DJ Moore, getting him out in space, things like that, with Rome Odunze and the chemistry that he has with Caleb Williams. I said it before, this could be one of the most talented and deep receiving cores that we've ever had as Chicago Bears fans. There's a nice chance of that happening. Now, I don't know if that's all going to come together in year one, but I love what we're having here, and Luther Burton continue to be a standout. That's really good to see, really good to hear. Next up, another wide receiver, Olamide Zaccheus, is just, listen, he's been a guy that we've heard a lot about. We knew that when the Bears signed him, before they even drafted Luther Burton, we knew that Zaccheus was going to be a weapon at that slot position. So being able to have him and Luther Burton there, it just goes to what I talked about as far as this wide receiver core being maybe one of the deepest that the Bears have really ever had. One of the best throws Caleb Williams made yesterday was reportedly on a scramble where he finds Zaccheus wide open down the field. So, those are really good things to happen. Olamide is a veteran, and that veteran presence, I think, is going to be important not only for Caleb, but the other wide receivers in the room. You look at DJ Moore and Olamide, they're the veterans there. You got Rome was going into his second year. Luther Burton's coming into his first year. So having those veteran presence there is definitely going to help. And Zaccheus knows exactly who he is. He can fit in a multitude of systems. I think that what he's able to do still with speed coming into that slot, and it's just going to add to the variance of weapons that we're going to have here and the different looks that we're going to be able to throw out there for the Chicago Bears heading into next year. And that's not even to mention how Colston Loveland continues to be somebody who stands out as well. So hearing that Zaccheus is there, really good. One of the biggest plays of camp so far, reportedly, is to Zaccheus, and he's been showing up every day in practice, and you need those guys who are going to do that. Next up, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, from what we're hearing now, starting to string together some solid practices. And reportedly by a lot of people, his best day in camp was Thursday. And so that's really good. The fact that he's getting the ball all over the field, down the middle, down the field of the quarterback, down the sidelines as well. Getting guys like Burton, Zaccheus there, the rhythm that he already had with Rome Odunze, building rhythm as well with DJ Moore. And so that's all really good things. Even, passes to Cole Kmet, Miles Boykin, All really good things when it comes down to it. Greg Bragg said this: Caleb is dialed in today, ladies and gentlemen, spraying the ball all over the field. This time to Romo Dunze deep down the sidelines and another zip pass to Miles Boykin, and that it was fun to watch. Caleb, you want to have fun when you're out there playing football. You have to have execution as well, and it seems like Caleb's is just stringing those things together. And that, again, the plan that Ben Johnson had to come in here and challenge Caleb and to get Caleb to a certain level has really been working. Keep in mind, the challenge that Ben Johnson had for Caleb Williams is 70% completion rate, which put him in an area that only few quarterbacks do each and every year. If Caleb Williams could do that in year 2, it not only shows how much that he really grew and studied under Ben Johnson to get ready for this system, but also to get ready just for the rigors of the season and things like that. So, we've heard things like he had the it factor. Like, again, all this is great in training camp, and this is not to knock on Caleb Williams, but, great things should be said in training camp. You got to still put it out on the football field. And, with the struggles that the offense had in the first week, some pre-snap issues, some with Caleb Williams' inaccuracy, those type of things that hasn't been talked about as much, in this second week of training camp, especially since some more of his weapons are now healthy, and Colston Loveland and Luther Burton have gotten more. And, now we're getting to the point of scheming, DJ Moore to be more open. So all those things paying off for this team seems like, again, it just goes to the difference when you have a competent coaching staff and a game plan for how they want to coach players. It's easy to just, and I mean, I say it's easy. It's easier to have a game plan of what you want players to do. It's harder in a different level and a different wrinkle to that when you take that a step further and say, these are the specific things that we want you to do based off where you were weak at last season, and we think that this thing is going to help you get over X hump that we do see for you potentially heading into next year. And so that's really good. Caleb Williams also already talking about the trust that he has with Colston Loveland is another big thing when it comes down to this. He said this: the other day I actually threw a ball down the middle to him, and the ball kind of slipped out of my hand a little sweaty and kind of raised up because I knew the ball was slipping out of my hand. He went up and grabbed it and came down with it. It was a big catch. Things like that provide trust, faith, belief that whenever the ball goes up in the air, it's his. That's a really, really big statement from your quarterback on your tight end that you're wanting to grow together, right? To hear that from him. He also said this: he's been great. He's been great. He's a smart cat. We've hung out a few times. Actually, him and a couple of other teammates who went down to the city on our off day and had dinner. We're hanging out, building that bond, building that trust. On the field wise, he's smart. He knows what he's doing. He's a young cat. There are going to be a few mistakes, maybe hand placement, but when the ball goes up, I got all the faith in him. Listen, to have that in your first year, that's exactly what you want. You haven't even played an actual regular season game yet. And so it's good to hear those things coming out of it. But again, like I always like to say, this isn't me being pessimistic. This is just me being a little bit more realistic. At least I feel is being more realistic. It's all great. And it all should be great things and good talk coming out of training camp. The thing is, do those things maintain when you got a 300-pound lineman running at you and you're able to go and get it? Does it maintain when you got a linebacker for that tight end trying to keep them from getting the ball? That's what we need to see. But again, we haven't gotten to the point to even be able to see that yet, but I just want to point that out as well. We still got things that we definitely need to see grow as well. Now, the last standout in yesterday's practice, reportedly as well, was Montez Sweat. A lot of talk about the offense yesterday because I do think the offense had what sounded like a really big day when it came down to it. But this one comes from Brad Biggs as well. Talking about Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat with the big win off the edge and the sack in the final series. He also talked about Ruben Hippolyte showing up in some big plays over the course of the practice as well. So that's really good things that bode well also. But Montez Sweat, a guy that had a disappointing season last year statistically, right? And while now everything is all about what's in the box score, sometimes it's more than that. You got to acknowledge that, last year was a disappointment for the defense overall. A lot of Jalen Johnson's numbers were down. Tremaine Edmonds was down. Montez Sweat was down. Everybody was down. So I think you have that. But when you hear things like Montez Sweat beating the blockers to get to the backfield, that he would have come down with a sack at the end of practice, things like that. The defensive linemen really kind of working together and building their chemistry. And a lot of that starts with Montez Sweat. So hearing that Montez himself is having some big practices, again, nothing that's bad for this team at all. And throughout this training camp so far period as well, like we've heard a lot of good things up and down about this training camp as far as on both sides of the ball. And we're getting to that place, where I know the excitement is building for a lot of Bears fans. I'm not here to shit on anybody, to yuck anybody's yum. You can get excited as you want to. If you want to think that the Bears are going to win 10, 11 games, do it, right? I want the excitement. It's better when Bears Nation is a little bit more excited. It's just, I got to be a little bit pessimistic here and just hold the fort and say, listen, if a lot of this stuff maintains going into the regular season, all of it doesn't have to, but if it does, that's really good. And the fact that these players are adapting to what Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen's coaching style is, that is the most important thing, I think, through what we've seen in training camp so far. Got a preseason game coming up in a little over a week. Can't wait to see what this team looks like when it gets on the field, or look what this system looks like on the field. I think we're going to have some fun with it. I definitely think this is going to be a fun season for Bears fans. But with that said, it is Friday. That means it is Mailbag Day. Let's go ahead and get into these voicemails. This one's from Darius.
What's going on, man? Darius in Dallas, man. I just wanted to call in and give my thoughts on this recent training camp updates and whatnot. As y'all know, Hayes has told the nation that I'm opposed to anything creative on offense because it's too quote-unquote gimmicky or whatever the hell. Well, I'm going to prove him wrong so the nation can hear it. I actually do love the fact that DJ Moore is getting touches out of the backfield, because that makes sense, for him to utilize him like a Debo Samuels type guy. If it was like Rome Odunze or somebody back, I'd be like, no. But I've always kind of thought that that DJ is kind of built like a running back. Like he's short, he's not short, but he's compact. Like if you were to put 10, 15 pounds of muscle on him, he'd look like a running back. So I do like the idea of him coming out of the backfield. And I think it will kind of confuse defenses a lot, particularly if we can do it in a two-back set where we got, him and another running back there, and they don't know if DJ's going out for a pass or if he's running up the middle for all they know, So I do like that. I think it'll keep defense on its toes. Despite what Hayes says, I don't have a problem with creativity on offense. I just want it to make fucking sense. We've seen too much bullshit in the past. When I say gimmicky, I mean throwing 7 screen passes back to back, like we did a few years back. I call that kind of stuff gimmicky, and that's what happens when guys get a little too cute and don't stick to the fundamentals. But I love that it looks like so far that Ben Johnson is circling everything around the running game first. It looks like that's going to be a focal point of our offense. And as long as that is the case, hey, do whatever the fuck you want. Take Darnell Wright and put him out wide for all I care for 10 snaps a game. I don't give a shit. Just make the focal. Don't get away from the fundamentals to try to gain creativity. That's all I'm asking. No problem with anything creative. Just wanted to make sense. That's all. Last thing, man. Dennis Allen says that cornerback 2 position is wide open. So maybe, Dennis Allen saw some of them same stats that you pointed out, and he didn't feel like that was good enough. So, and don't give me the stuff about all the positions are wide open. No, they ain't all wide open. Let's just be real. I think we got some competition at that CB2, and I don't think that it's automatically Tyreek Stevenson. And I don't think that if those stats were so great that there will be any kind of doubt about him starting over there. But let me know what y'all think. Check this up, bear down.
First of all, it's Friday. Keep in mind, and I'm recording this video Friday at 6:45 a.m. Chicago time. Darius has left 4 voicemails over the course. I'm sure 2 to 3 more are coming over the course of the weekend. Darius needs friends. Y'all reach out to Darius. Go and find his social media. Go out and hang out. Darius needs some friends. You should be drinking some beer, my boy. Darius calls after every. No, I love it, bro. Like, all jokes aside, I love the interaction that we have here. Darius is one of our more, but he's not the only one that leaves multiple voicemails over the week. We appreciate you guys when we drop an episode that you feel that you want to engage so much that you call right after it. All jokes aside, we really do appreciate that. But as far as Darius's voicemails, 7 screen pass isn't even gimmicky, my boy. That's just plain stupidity. Shane Waldron was a fucking idiot. But I do agree with you. Ben Johnson is going to get creative with this offense. He's going to find ways and creative ways to get the ball in the hands of his players. And that's all you can ask for from an offensive-minded guys. Find a way to get your guys the ball where they're the best at and let them go to work. And that's really a backbone of what Dennis Allen's system is built off of. Trust your playmakers to make the plays. Your job is to scheme a way to find them, to get them the ball So whether that means DJ Moore, Luther Burton, whoever, like there are going to be some players that are used in the backfield or are used in creative ways. I for one, am super excited to see what it is because, again, I trust Ben Johnson and Declan Doyle at this point to do it sensibly. Like you said, for it not to get gimmicky. And that's the big thing when it comes back to it. As far as the CB2 position being wide open, I don't think that's necessarily saying that the stats don't mean much, but here's a couple of things that go into that. Nashawn Wright's come in absolutely great in training camp. I think you also see a guy like Zay Frazier who kind of fits more with what Dennis Allen's defensive philosophies are. And you got to keep this in mind. Tyreek Stevenson's getting paid. And if you have other guys that are there that you can save some of that money on, when this deal comes up, if you're just a CB2, you can find another CB2, right? So it's those things that I think play a part into it, but I love it. Like, have the open competition, have it at what it is. Like, if guys are bringing it, those guys have the right to have an opportunity to earn a starting role. Terrell Smith has always pushed Tyreek Stevenson to at least share those reps. Nashawn Wright has come in place of Jalen Johnson and has showed the hell out. I love hearing a coaching staff that isn't locked in and saying, well, just because they were our starter last year and they're not a bad player means they're going to be our starter. No, find the best fit of the guys that you have out there. So if that's what Dennis Allen is doing, which it sounds like, hats off to Dennis Allen. And, if we want to get back to having that defense that we've all talked about, hey, you're going to have to get creative in it. And we'll see what Dennis Allen does. Great voicemail, Darius. Let's get into this next one, man. This one's from the 773 because, listen, I'll talk about it after the voicemail.
Hey, this Chicago Avenue Ant calling from the west side, man. My first time calling in. Want to give a shout out to the Cognac boys. Man, Hayes, you guys doing a hell of a job. I just called to tell everybody, man, relax, man. We in practice. They gonna miss passes in practice. They gonna miss blocks in practice. Things gonna happen. We practicing for perfection. All they got to do is just relax. I've been a Bear fan, and I know one thing. I know when something looks bad, and I've seen trash quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is not trash. The team is not trash. We have a great coach. We have a great coaching staff. Man, I just want to keep on giving y'all a shout out. Oh, yeah, and I want to give Steve-O a shout out, man, because he can recognize, man, all the big guys in the trenches. So shout down up and bear down.
Ain't nobody calling you no goddamn Chicago Avenue. Get a real nickname or just use your God-given name, man. Like Chicago, that's not a nick. I guarantee you, nobody in Chicago is walking around calling you Chicago Avenue. Maybe they calling you Avenue or Ave. I'm down for that being the nickname. Chicago Avenue is too much. It's too long for a nickname. But I love what you said there. Practicing for perfection is a bar, my boy, and I love that. And I do think that this is a team that I think a lot of players are going to look better under a competent coaching staff. And I think that that's the step that you can expect to see from a handful of these players is just under competency and having guys that actually are smart and good at their job. The Bears spared no expense. I know we talk a lot about hiring Ben Johnson, making him one of the highest paid coaches, but the fact that the Bears did not skimp out and cheap out on assistance at all, they filled this. If you go and look at some of the names that are on this Bears coaching staff, you'll see that these are some of the most respected names in football. So, yeah, trusting these guys to develop them, have a plan for them. And I think that a lot of these guys are going to look better this year because you're going to have a competent coaching staff and just overall smarter and better scheming on the offense and defensive sides of the ball. And that's what I'm really excited about for this team. So great voicemail there, 773. I call you Av. I'm not calling you Chicago Av. Let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Ty.
Yo, CBC. It's TY from the South Side checking in again. First off, man, I hope all you guys are doing well. I'm just calling, what I'm saying, just to, talk about, what I'm saying, the Ben Johnson and DA, what I'm saying, continuing to set the standard, what I'm saying, just was watching that video. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been peeping a lot of people, have been talking about trading, and I don't know, to me, I feel like not just on offense and the receiver, man, it's like the defense is looking like we got depth. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line look like we starting to get depth and stuff like that. I mean, to me, and to be honest, and this is like how I feel like. It's like the first time I've ever seen like us looking, you know what I'm saying, this decently. Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that we're gonna be that we're top tier, not yet, because we still got to get to the season. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying. We got Dennis Allen coaching these guys up, you know what I'm saying, throwing out intricate defenses, and we got Ben Johnson out there, you know what I'm saying, making sure them guys are staying, you know, tightening on the details. Like, you know, regardless of who start, I feel like no matter what, we will have a rotational set of guys in almost every position, you know what I'm saying, that can really wear down defenses or offenses, you know what I'm saying. So for the most part, I really do like the competition that the Bears is keeping up over there, you know what I'm saying, and I just hope that this stuff all transferred to the season, you know what I'm saying. It all look good now in practice and stuff like that, but we, you know what I'm saying, especially me, you know what I'm saying, my family, man, we all wanna see it being translated to the actual games and live games and us, you know what I'm saying, pushing this to the next level. But I'm not gonna lie. For Ben Johnson to come in here for first year, you know what I'm saying, put his foot on next and get into the details and sticking to it, hey, I see a bright future with this team. But that's all I got for today, you know. As always, sight town up, bear down, baby. You already know.
Decent rotation at every position. I've said it a lot. And the two position groups that I'm worried about the most when it comes to depth is the offensive line, because I think you have a lot of unproven depth there. But again, what we've heard from training camp, these guys are doing pretty good. But until we see it in the regular season, a little bit worried about the depth there. And the linebacker spot, I'm worried about the depth there too. Really, when you look about every other position, we do have great depth. Our wide receiver room, really good. Our tight end room, really good. Our running back room, I don't think that we have a lack of depth. I think we have a lack of top end talent. But I think the depth there is pretty good there. Defensive ends, I feel okay about that. A little a little unproven there, like the offensive line. But we have some solid depth there on that D line. The linebacker is weak, and the defensive back group, we have probably the most depth at any position group. So I'm cool with the depth at most spots. That offensive line, the linebacker group, the edge is unproven as well. But I do think we have some depth there that's going to look really good for this team coming into next season. So great voicemail there, Ty. Let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Buck.
Good morning, Chicago Bears Central. My name is Buck. Firstly, let me say, keep up the fine work you're doing, analyzing and breaking down and making sense of some of these complicated thoughts we have. Hayes, I was listening to your observation of Caleb's improvement in throwing the long ball and the play action. Offenses today, I believe, must be able to throw that long ball and stretch that field vertically. I'd like to hear your thoughts on how the running game and the play action affects the long ball, which is I believe is going to be a key to Caleb and Rome and the Bears reaching the lofty goals they're aspiring to this year. I love and appreciate how you break that kind of stuff down, Hayes. With that, Chicago up, bear down. Have a great day.
Long throws, absolutely you need. Play action in the running game, absolutely. You need to have balance. And when you don't have balance, that is when defenses can zero in on your game plan, right? We heard so much last season, right? It was the second game of the season where we heard, oh yeah, the Bears ran that a couple of times. We knew exactly where they were going to go with it. You don't want that. And to keep that from happening, you have to do things like have a balance. So the play action, it keeps defenses honest in the run and in the pass game because you actually have to be a threat to do either. So you need that run game. You need to be able to attack downfield because then that opens up the middle of the field for check downs, for you to run that play action pass and run it up the gut of the defense on draws and things like that. So you need those opportunities there. And that's why I think Ben Johnson's going to find the best version of balance for this team. Now, we know that the running back talent is a little questionable, and we'll see how that ends up shaking out. But I think that to be a above average offense in the modern NFL, you need to be solid because all those things play into each other and how you set up teams for other plays down the road. And that's one thing we have not seen over the last 3 years with the Chicago Bears. We have not had good enough offenses to really scheme anything and to set stuff up And hopefully that changes this year. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Larry.
Yo, hey, the white boy Larry checking in with you. Got a couple thoughts. Make it quick. Again, always love the show. You guys do a great job. Looking forward to Thursday that I'm calling you. Looking forward to actual preseason starting tonight, but I'm actually looking really, really forward to seeing some of these new rookies under live fire, seeing how they act and whatnot. And the one I'm so looking forward to is Manangi. You had said earlier that you don't think he'd even be pushing for RB3, but I don't think so. I think he's going to be the steal of the draft, my guy. I think this guy is going to feast. He's going to go into his own beast mode. This guy is just amazing, and I do not see it too far-fetched for him being RB2, maybe even knocking on the door of RB1, pending some injuries down the line for certain people. But that's what I think. I mean, I might be talking on my ass, but who do I know? What do I know? Also, the defense. I'm so looking forward to this defense. I love how DA is telling everybody they got to pay their toll, doing those up downs, and it's a privilege to be on this defense. There's no doubt it is a privilege to be on this defense. And you talking about them having to earn that moniker back of Monsters of the Midway. I do believe they are going to do it this season. I am not just drinking the Kool-Aid, my guy. I am chugging this shit. I am all fucking in on these boys this year. All facets of the ball, all facets, every section. And what I really want to see is when the defense has a team at 2nd and long and 3rd and long, I want to see absolute disruption. I want to see them throwing the quarterback off timing. I want to see sacks. I want to see them feast in the backfield. I want to be a menace to society for the NFL and get that moniker of Monsters in the Midway back. So that's what I'm hoping. Also, one last tidbit. Can't wait for week 12 to see the Steelers and fucking Aaron Rodgers at prick and make him knock his dick in the dirt. So, anyway, love the show. Love you guys. You guys do a great job. And as always, check down up, bear down.
Manangi, pushing for running back 2, running back 1, potentially. I mean, listen, if it happens, great. I mean, if it were to happen, amazing. I'm not going to have any faults for that. It's nothing against Manangi. I just think that Ben Johnson may want to go with the more proven thing. But, hey, Manangi's turning heads reportedly in training camp. And we do know that if you come and bring it, then he's going to be open to playing you. So if Manangi can cut into those snaps. And that was the thing that I really looked at with just find a way to make this offense feel like we got to get Manangi some snaps. The rest, let that play itself out. And if he's going to move up and possibly be pushed for running back 2 or running back 1 by the end of the season, great. The Bears are just better for it. So no knock at all on Manangi, no cap at all on Manangi. Let's just see what he's able to do on the football field. As far as Dennis Allen's defense and the excitement, absolutely, bro. And again, Monsters of the Midway is a moniker that you have to earn. And it's not just through how good your defense is, it's also through the identity of your defense. You have to be a tough defense to have that type of moniker. And I hope that that's a moniker that we can get back this season. We'll see, but it is one that I hope that we can get back, and we'll see how that plays out for this team. As far as week 12 versus the Steelers, listen, I always love to see Aaron Rodgers fail, but at this point, I'm more worried. If I'm worried about any individual matchup, it's the Packers, because that's just me. Other than that, I just want to see this team have a solid season. I want to see this team have a winning season. That's what I want to see. And we'll see what comes out on that. But guys, thank you for the voicemails. Thank you for listening. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything, and I mean everything Chicago Bears related. I'll see you guys on the next one. Like I like to end everything on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.